and sharing my screen. And in sharing my screen, let me first go. We're done with notes on chapter 10. Like to have you folks work today, answer what questions you might have. First, again, I wanted to look at just a couple of problems from the textbook that are interesting problems that somebody was asking me about before class. But we're for all intents and purposes, we're done with the chapter 10. We'll again spend some time tying up loose ends on Friday, and maybe start doing a little bit of introduction into chapter 11 Friday if there aren't many questions. So that chapter 10 test will be available from Monday, Tuesday up until class time Wednesday, unless, if you folks would prefer, would you rather work on the chapter test over the weekend and have it available from Friday till Monday? What's your preference? Or shall we readdress this question on Friday and see how you feel?
I think the weekend might be better.
All right.
I like it the way it is.
So, okay, I've got one vote for the weekend, and I've got one vote for leaving it Monday. I have never done a poll in Zoom, but this probably would be the place to do a poll. So let me see if I can figure out how to do a poll. I apologize. Polls. Add a question. Oh, I don't have a question to add. Okay. Give me just a second. It's not a very grammatically correct. Okay. So you should be able to vote whether you want tests Monday or weekend. Give it a minute. I apologize that I didn't have this set up before. So far, we've got 8 responses and we've got 13 people in class. So, 10 responses. 11, 12, and it's a tie. 13. All right, so Monday. Monday won by 1 person. But I'm thinking that it's close enough that we should try to come up with a compromise. How about if we have the test available instead of Monday to Tuesday, how about if we have it available instead of Friday till Sunday? How about we have it available from Saturday till, instead of Monday to Wednesday, or Friday to Sunday? How about if we have it available from Saturday till Tuesday? Would that work for everybody?
Yes.
Some- Somewhere in between?
Yes.
Okay, I have to change the dates in Blackboard, and I will try to remember to do that. But, you know, hopefully this is something, does this sound like a reasonable compromise? It's leaving the test open one day longer than I would have wanted it open. But I think for those of you who feel you need the weekend, as opposed to for those of you who feel you don't want to start it till Monday, is this a workable compromise?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then, before we, break out into breakout rooms and have you folks work on things, does anybody have any pressing questions from any of the homework or the activities that they would like to look at together first?
I do.
Go ahead.
For activity 10, how did you want us to measure the figures?
Give me a second. Activity 10, I believe, is that last one. Oh,
It's where you're like supposed to cut out the figures.
you don't have to cut them out. I want you to just, with a ruler, measure the length of this side. For example, you know, just measure the length of the sides, the edges that you would need in order to find the area.
Okay.
Okay, and when you do that measuring, again, I think I had said before, I'm saying you must use the metric side of the ruler. Measure them in centimeters, not inches.
Okay.
So, I want you to make sure that you measure them in centimeters. Okay,
Okay.
any other questions? Can I just show you that one homework problem that I think is really cool? Or go ahead, somebody else had a question. Does somebody have another question or no?
Not that I can think of.
Can I look at this number 31? Did you guys get number 31 on page, the exercises on page 531 or not? I think this is such a cool question. The first time I ran into the idea of this question, I was listening to the radio on a Saturday morning. Did anybody ever hear that old show that used to be on public radio, Car Talk, with the two old guys from Boston that were college professors that were also auto mechanics? And they would throw out a challenging question. And the idea was along the lines of this, where you have two concentric circles, so they have the same center. And, oh Lord, sorry about that. And you know the length of this segment that's tangent to the inner circle, and that's supposed to be enough information to find the area in between the two. How do you guys do with this one? Anybody get it yet? Did you want a little help, or did you want to try it on your own and we'll look at it again on Friday?
I tried it and I definitely need help.
Okay. Now, that light blue area Are you all right that that light blue area is the difference between the area of the small circle minus the area of the large circle? So we'll take the area of the big circle minus the area of the little. That part makes sense.
Yep.
And do you remember that the area of a circle is pi r squared? The other thing that you have to remember that we had talked about before is that if I have a tangent is perpendicular to a radius. So for this little circle, I'm going to have this radius here. I'm going to call that little r. And I know that gives me a right angle. So far, so good.
Yep.
And if this whole blue segment has a length of 20, wouldn't each side have a length of 10? Now, the area of the little circle would be that pi, and I'm going to use little r for its radius, pi r squared. Now, the big circle has a radius too. And I guess I could draw the radius of the big circle going straight up. But being this point is here, does it make sense that I might want to draw a radius over here? And because it's the big circle, is everybody all right if I say that radius is big R? So the area of the big circle would be pi times big R squared. And I have to subtract those two. Make sense so far?
Yep.
And so as I look at this expression, can I think of that as pi times big R squared minus little r squared? But sadly, I don't know either radius. But as I look at the picture, does it jump up and bite anybody on the nose that what I also made here is a little right triangle? And in a little right triangle, isn't it always a squared plus b squared equals c squared? A and B are the legs. So one leg is 10. The other leg is that little radius. And the hypotenuse is the big radius. So far, so good?
Yep.
Now, I don't know either radius. But looking at this, if I could find big R squared minus little r squared, well, let me go back to that equation that I wrote, and let me subtract little r squared from both sides. Doesn't that give me that 10 squared, or 100, is equal to big R squared minus little r squared? So, can I substitute that in here and get pi times 100? Or in terms of pi, 100 pi square centimeters would be that light blue area. Isn't that fun? You guys don't sound amazed. I think that's like the coolest problem. Can you wrap your minds around it or no? Does anybody need a slow motion instant replay, or are we good?
Will that be on the test?
Why is that the question everybody always asks? That's cool reasoning. It's above and beyond reasoning. Some of the homework problems are above and beyond. Usually things on the test aren't quite as challenging. There are some on the tests that ask you to find areas of irregular figures, but none quite like this.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn my finger into a mouse, clear that. Ask, were there any others like that that folks were wondering about? Or do you want me to leave Friday to answer questions like that and just have you break out into rooms and work together today? Not hearing any pressing questions. How about it's what, 11:17? Let's give you guys till 11:40 to work together on problems. If you have a question, raise a flag, snag me. Otherwise, I will, drop in on each room in a few minutes and see how everybody's doing. And in the last 10 minutes of class, we'll see if there were any pressing questions that anybody had. Is everybody all right when I make these breakout rooms? We've got 13 people. And so if I make 4 rooms, we'll have 3 people in a room, just 1 room that has 4 people in it instead. Does that sound all right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to have Zoom decide who goes in which room. And again, I will start calling you guys back a little bit before 11:40. So, and because you guys are going to be in breakout rooms, I'm going to stop recording. The rest of class won't be recorded if that's all right. Okay. So have fun, working together, and I will check on you and call you back a little before noon. So have fun.